Hello everyone, Charles here, and in this presentation I'm going to cover Forex Trading Sessions Presentation 2. Today we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about trading sessions overlap, the best time to trade volume, and the average Pip movement. As always, we must start with a disclaimer. Feel free to pause the video and read through the entire disclaimer, but when trading any financial asset, there's a possibility you may sustain a partial or total loss of your investment funds. As a result, it is advised you should never invest with or trade upon money which you cannot afford to lose. Trading involves a real risk of loss, and past performance does not ensure future results. So let's continue. In my last presentation, I covered just a basic introduction to trading sessions, their times, daylight savings, and how that affects each of those, and a brief intro to session overlapping. If you did not watch that presentation yet, I'd recommend checking it out before proceeding. So what is trading volume? I talked a little bit about market volume in one of the slides on the previous presentation. Trading volume, also known as volatility. You'll hear it, each trader uses different terms. I use both terms. It just kind of depends on personal preference. But if you hear volume or volatility, movement in the market, that's all pretty much talking about the same thing, okay? So what volume or volatility does is it measures the total number of shares or contracts transacted for a specified security during a during a specified time period. It includes the total number of shares transacted between a buyer and seller during a transaction. When securities are more actively traded, their trade volume is high. And when securities are less actively traded, their trade volume is low. So what are the best currencies to trade? It's important to note that each trading session has currencies that move better than others. The New York session, you'll find that the USD, CAD, and XAU, or gold, are the best currencies to trade. And that does not mean USD CAD, okay, that means Euro USD, GBP USD, USD CAD. It means any pair that has USD or CAD in that, okay, just to clarify that. And same with the rest of these, okay. For London, it's the GBP, Euro, and CHF. Okay, again, variations that include each of these currencies, okay? And the Asian session is JPY, AUD, and NZD. So what are the most probable times that the market will have the highest trading volume, and which are the best currencies to trade during each of those times? So talked about just a brief intro to trading session overlap in my previous presentation. So for EDT, or the spring, summer, March, April to October, November, this is what we're looking at. So these white areas are the times that you're not going to see, or more than likely, okay, will not see much movement. Please note that news will always affect any time in the market, okay? Higher impact news, medium to high impact, those are the times you want to watch more. High impact especially, days that have NFP, non-farm payroll, or FOMC. Those are some of the highest things that go around in the world, okay? Keep an eye on that high impact news, because you'll more than likely see more volatility in the market, okay? But in general, okay, not looking at news, excuse me, these green blocks here are probably the highest movement, okay, that you'll see. You will also see it in the gold color here, orange color, but these are definitely what traders tend to go for more, unless if you're a night trader, okay. but just keep that in mind. So that is for EDT. And let's take a little closer look at that. The best times in currency pairs, so from 3 to 5, right here, this green block, that is the Tokyo-London overlap, okay? And the best pairs to trade during that time, looking at historical data, would be GBP, Euro, and CHF. From 8 to 11 EDT. So that is right here. That is the London to New York overlap. Okay? From 8 to 11. Best pairs to trade during that time are the USD, CAD, and gold. And then from 20 to 2. Okay? 20, if you're not familiar with this time, it's 8 p.m. to 2 a.m., okay, EDT. That is the Sydney to Tokyo overlap. That is this orange section here, okay? And the best pairs to trade during this time are JPY, AUD, and NZD. So now let's take a look at EST. So EST is fall, winter in the US, and that's from October, November to March, April. Okay. Again, best times are going to be, unless if you're a night trader, okay, and depending on the pairs you like to trade too, okay, you'll be looking at the 3 to 4 a.m. here and the 8 to 11 here. And then you'll also be looking at, I would personally avoid this area, but I'll talk about that in the next slide, and your Sydney to Tokyo overlap here, okay? So if we look at this in a little more detail, from 3 to 4 EST, you're looking at GBP, Euro, and CHF. At 3 to 4 is the Tokyo to London overlap. From 8 to 11 EST, best pairs to trade would be the USD, CAD, and gold. That is here at the London to New York overlap. Now, like I talked about in the previous slide, there is an overlap from 15 to 1600 hours, okay? This is completely up to you, obviously, but take note that there's not much movement in the afternoon market, unless if there is a higher impact news release, okay? Then this could be a good time to trade, but overall, this is just a time to kind of analyze the market, you know, come up with some ideas for the next day if you're an intraday trader, but this is not the best time to trade, okay, personally. There is that overlap, but you just don't usually see quite as much movement, okay? And then from 19 to 24, okay, that's that Sydney to Tokyo overlap. And the best pairs to trade during that are JPY, AUD, and NZD. Movement. Now let's take a look at the average pip movement of major currency pairs during each session. The average pip movement during each trading session. Okay, over here we have a chart. Now, please note, these projections are based on previous movement history. Okay, these values can and will change. So, here we have the Tokyo, London, and New York sessions. Okay, that's each of these columns. And then your pairs, we have the Euro USD, GBP USD, USD JPY, AUD USD, NZD USD, USD CAD, USD CHF, Euro JPY, GBP JPY, AUD JPY, Euro GBP, and Euro CHF. Okay, now if you just take a brief look at this, there are quite a few really opportune times for each currency pair. Okay, so let's look at that. As far as your highest movement, we see that the London session has the most currency pairs with movement over 100 pips. Okay, that is each of these circled in yellow. And movement over 95 pips are circled in orange. Okay. You can also see that Tokyo and New York sessions still have some pairs to focus on. Okay, London just has the highest range. Okay, so if you are a trader that trades many currency pairs every day, or you're looking for a lot of setups, check out London. That's really got the most movement. Your next would be New York, and then Tokyo. Okay, if you're a trader like me, I like long-term stuff. Although I look at the sessions, I don't. I look at them more for validation. Okay, I stick to the daily time frame. I check in maybe a couple times a week. I let my trades run. I always, if I see a nice range, then I like to set my pending orders along with my target zones, or take profit levels and my stop losses at that point. Okay, so my week, or my trading week, I guess, involves more of an analytic approach, looking at those longer time frames, just getting those trades set up, and just taking a few trades really throughout the month. I take maybe a trade really every week. Sometimes I'll take two. But that's what I like. I like those longer time frames. I like the higher movement. We do have some EAs in the room that I use just for kind of daily. I like our Salmonex. It's a breakout trader. So with these sessions like this that overlap, if you have it set up, then it's going to trade it for you, because I'm not awake at that time, or normally I'm not. So other than that, though, I like to really look at that longer time frame. Historical data is a much more, I don't know, valuable data to me, just because I don't like to be at the charts every day like that. Okay, so if we take a look at this, okay, your best pairs to trade are going to be Euro for Tokyo. Let's just check that out. Okay, Euro JPY and GBP JPY will be your two highest for Tokyo. So if you're a night trader, check those two out. AUD JPY is a very close runner-up, but it is under 100 pips on average. So I mean, it's right there, but you know, that would be the next runner-up. So London, the Euro, GBP USD, USD CHF, Euro JPY, GBP JPY, AUD JPY, and Euro CHF. Those are all over 100, and close runner-up would be the USD CAD, which is 96. Okay. New York session. Top three pair are Euro JPY, GBP JPY, and AUD JPY. So if you see that New York and Tokyo are pretty darn close there, okay, as far as the top performing. And even if you look at just literally the top performing, Euro JPY, GBP JPY, it most certainly is on both of those charts. Okay. Two runners up here in the New York session would be the USD CAD and the GBP USD. Okay. So there you have it. Quick recap. Tokyo session. Pairs that move the most. Euro JPY, GBP JPY. Same with New York. Okay. Close runner up. AUD JPY on the Tokyo. Right up there with the rest in New York would be AUD JPY. London session. Like I said, for USD pairs, Euro, GBP, CHF, and then your JPY pairs would be Euro, GBP, AUD, and then your Euro CHF as well. Close runner up, USD CAD. New York session, close runners up, USD CAD and GBP USD. that's it. So I hope that helped to kind of clarify some things with overlapping. I hope that gives you a little bit of confidence with entering the market, which pairs to even bring up. You can set up your MT4 to have a set charts for your top pairs you want to take a look at. That's what I recommend, especially if you do trade multiple sessions. Just save that, and then you can just load it up and have whatever technical analysis, indicators, things like that that you use, and hopefully that overlap time also helps you to know when to even check your computer as well. Okay, so in my next presentations, I'm going to start covering breakouts from those trading sessions and how to properly trade them. So when it comes to that overlapping time, I'm not going to really get into it in depth, but those breakouts, you want to calculate that upper and lower time frame, okay, of that overlapping session, and that's going to give you a real nice indication of where price is going to go when you see price break out from the upper or lower overlap. Okay, so I'll start covering that. I'm going to break it down real simple. I think it is very beneficial to people because there's a lot of information with trading and you can get overwhelmed very easily. So by making these very simple, I'm hoping that it kind of sinks in and you really get a clear understanding of how to properly trade sessions, overlapping, breakouts, all that. And then I'm going to get into some strategies too, which are going to be real nice for you and the best currency pairs to trade those on. Again, if you're interested in learning more great strategies, receiving trading alerts, joining our academy, or just accessing our free trading education, please go to slatetrade.net and we will see you there.